I just created a complete children's book for Amazon KDP. Story, illustration, and layout with literally just one prompt. Now, I know it sounds crazy, but there is this new AI feature that I came across that claims that you can create an entire children's book instantly using just a single prompt, and it's going to do the rest for you. So I decided to test it from start to finish to see if it's as powerful as it sounds, and I was able to come up with this. Now, what surprised me the most was how fast it all came together. The story, the images, everything, and all I did was input a single prompt. Now, let me show you exactly what happened behind the scenes. Alright, here's what I did. The first thing is I went to this tool. I'm going to be leaving the link in the description. So you want to click the link in the description and it will take you to this tool where you can actually create children's book for Amazon KDP. And of course, you want to click try for free where you can actually sign up and log in. Now, once you are logged in into this site, this is how your dashboard is going to look like. And you want to go to this one-click ebook. So this one-click ebook is a new feature that this particular tool claims that you can actually just input one prompt and AI is going to do the rest for you. So I wanted to see if this tool could actually handle everything: the writing, the creating of the illustration, formatting of the pages for KDP all automatically. So here is how it works. So I click on the one-click ebook and it's going to take you to this page where you're going to select the age range, which is super important because if you're creating children's books, it has to appeal to a certain age range. And for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be choosing 4 to 6 years old, where we can create up to 18 to 22 pages. And I'm going to click on next. Now, this is where you are going to select the topic type, and this will help the AI tool to really understand what kind of children book you actually want to go for. Do you want to go for something family friendly, something fairy tale, something that is just stories, or holidays, or adventure, activity, education, whichever? So I'm going to go with stories, and under stories there are either bedtime stories, diversity and inclusion stories, friendship stories, funny stories, character education, and I am going to be going with bedtime stories. So I'm going to click on get started. The moment I click get started, this is where I'm going to briefly tell my description. You may want to cross-check this to be sure it aligns with what you actually want in your book. For the dimension of the book, I'm going to change it to 3:4. Now, for the story outline of the book, this particular tool doesn't need much. You can see that you have just 500 characters to be exhausted. So you just want to give as much brief outline as possible. So if you already have a story in mind, you can simply just input that there in your own words. Now, to make it fair, I am going to be keeping it super simple. So I'm just going to type: an orphan girl that grew up amongst chickens and saw them as family until one day when he grew up, he saw other girls in the sky that looked like him and he got curious if he could actually fly that high. And I'm going to click AI generate. In just a few seconds, it started generating the entire story. And honestly, I was literally amazed. And I'm going to click the next button, which is where I would then choose the image style that I prefer. So I'm just going to scroll down and look for something really cute. So I clicked on more so that I can see more options that are available to me. And you can see there are up to 243 drawing styles, meaning there is a whole lot to pick from. So I'm going to be going with this particular one here, which is the vibrant cozy style, and I'm going to be selecting it here, and I'm hitting the confirm button. Once I hit the confirm button, I'm going to click on next, and there's a notice that says the picture book is estimated to have approximately 18 to 22 pages, and of course it's going to use 4,000 credits, and I'm going to click confirm. And just like that, you can see storybook generation in progress. So you can see the way the AI tool is operating, the task list where it's going to extract the characters, create the characters, generate the storyboard subtitles, and generate the storyboard scene graphs. And this is going to be generated in about less than 30 minutes. So now we're going to wait for about 30 minutes so we can see what this tool is going to come up with. So now this particular tool has gone ahead to give us the finished book of this children's storybook from start to finish. And you can see that everything was literally done by the AI. I didn't have to do the generation manually. This actually helps save you a whole lot of time, and all you need to do is probably just do a little bit of edit in terms of, first of all, the consistency with the images, and secondly, in terms of the write-up. So you can see if we scroll here, the write-up are really small and you may want to make that bolder. But aside that, this tool literally lived up to what it said it was going to do. With just a single prompt, one click, it was able to create this. Now, the first thing is we're looking at the first one, the curious girl named Lenny, but I can just adjust it to the curious girl. I can decide to change the font. I'm using the cover font here, and I'm going to go with this one here. So this looks good. I'm going to reduce it, expand it over here, and I can change the color to white instead of green. And this looks good. I can decide to bring this down here. I can bolden it so it looks really interesting. I can bring the THE up here again, and I can zoom it again. So we have this over here, and one unique thing about this AI tool is that it also gives you a variety of images, 4 at least, where you can actually switch from if you're not comfortable with the one that it automatically chose. So you can see this one here also. So if we say apply to canvas, this is how it's going to look. I think I like this one better, and this is all good. So if we are going to the next page here, we are going to start with doing a little bit of touch up. First of all, you want to understand the storyline to be sure that the image perfectly fits it. Now, because it's AI, of course, you would need to do those double check, because if you are trying to create a KDP children's book that you are going to be actually selling, then it needs to have some level of accuracy. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to adjust the font because I want something really bolder. So even if I'm going with this banner, I'm going to go ahead to bolden the text so that it comes out really clear. So this is good. What I can do is I can just increase the size a little bit, and I can go ahead to make sure that the write-up are arranged neatly. For example, if you see this chick, if I zoom it a little bit, you can see the chick was named Lenny, but the S of the was is in the next line, which is not supposed to be so. So what I can do is I can take the whole was to the next line. So these are the little edits that we are going to be doing. And again, we're going to also be making sure that the image represents what is being said in the story outline, and also that the image has some level of consistency. So if you see Lenny has white feathers, not necessarily green. And because in the further images it has white feathers, so I'm going to change it to one that best represents the image of Lenny. So I can use this one, and I'm going to click apply to canvas. So this is much better here. And the next image, I'm also going to bolden the text also. And if I'm zooming it in, you can see I'm also going to arrange the text appropriately. I can zoom out the text and bring the minded as a word to the next line. So this is much better. And again, we want to see if what the outline says aligns with the image. So it says it didn't look quite like his nest mate, but the chickens never minded, and Lenny loved his round brown feathered family deeply. So the deeply comes to the next line. So if you look at the portrait reference, these are the little chicks here, and this is how they're supposed to look like. So what I can do is I'm going to try to regenerate the image and see the better versions that it can actually bring. If we check the others over here, you can see they are not the actual way that the other chickens are supposed to look like. This one looks closer. It's not exactly white, but it's not exactly well differentiated. So what I can do is I'm going to go ahead and regenerate. So I'm clicking generate here. It's going to take less than 2 minutes to bring another set of 4 images here. Now, typically the prompt I actually left it with was under the official prompt. So this AI tool would actually scan through each of the outlines of the story, and it's going to give an official prompt that best describes what the story is saying. So in most cases, the official prompt actually aligns with the story. So all I did was generate. I did not add a new prompt to it. So I think this is more like a better representation, and it actually has some more tint to it and some more differentiation. Again, we're going to go to the next one here, where we want to read what the outline is about and how we can best represent the outline with the image. So again, I'm going to bolden the text again here. I can zoom out the size here. I'm also going to see if there's any of the text that is not correctly formatted, but the texts are okay. Now I'm going to read the text to be sure that it aligns with the image. The text says, Lenny learned to scratch the dirt and chase after fallen corn kernels. So kernels is supposed to come to the next line because there's an S in it, or I can simply just increase it a little bit here. And to hide beneath hen's wings when the breeze turned chilly. I am also checking others to see if there's a better fit. You can see there are corn kernels on the floor, which is good. So let me see others to see which one I'm going to pick best. So I think this is a better representation. You can see some kernels on the floor here. And if we should scroll down again, we want to see the representation of the others. Now for this one, I'm going to also bolden the text, and I'm going to zoom it out to make the text somewhat bolder. And I'm going to try to make sure that the text is aligned properly. So you can see along behind, the behind can come into the next line. Safeness can be adjusted to be together. So what the outline is saying is every morning as the rooster crowed, Lenny will hop along behind the others, enjoying the warmth of the sun and the safety of the coop. The world just felt right around him. So Lenny is supposed to be in this picture, but based on the illustrations here, Lenny is not in the picture. So what we're going to do is we're going to find a better fit for it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and generate again. So for this one, I wasn't able to actually get the images that I would have preferred. So I'm going to go with the best and closest image to it, and which is this one here. But if you notice, Lenny is having wings coming out from the side of his head, which is not really appropriate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the chat PS here. This is where I can put a prompt that would remove or add anything that I need. So what I'm going to do is, so I said, for the small bird, remove the wings wrongly added on either side of its head. And for the rooster, the wings should be brown and feathers should be black. And I'm going to click create. As you can see, it gave us this, which it has actually removed the wings wrongly from the small bird. However, the rooster still looks a bit different from what I wanted. So I'm just going to do a little bit of touch up again. So I'm saying the feather of the rooster should be golden brown, and I'm going to click on create. So I think this is much better, even though it's not exactly based on the portrait reference, but this is a lot better. So this is just to show you an example of the little edits that I'm going to be making, just to ensure that there's as much consistency in the image, the text is formatted properly, and the text actually aligns with what the image is saying. So I'm going to just simply go off the camera and finish the rest using the same approach. So I have gone off the camera and just done a little bit of tweaks to give it some level of more perfection. And what I'm going to simply do is I'm going to click on this 3 dots here, and I'm going to click export as PDF. I can also decide to export as image, whichever is preferable. Now, the next thing you want to do is, obviously, you want to head over to Amazon KDP, because you are supposed to upload this to Amazon KDP. And to do that, Amazon KDP does have different standard trim size dimension, which is super important. So what you want to do is you want to head over to Amazon KDP help topics, under which you go to set trim size, bleed, and margins. Now, if you remember, when we were creating the book with just a single prompt, we used the canvas size of 3:4, which is like a portrait size. And if we should go to trim size, we will be able to see the different trim size that can be used when uploading to Amazon KDP. And if we should scroll down, you can see several of them. And the one that we're going to be going with is 8.5 by 11. This is super important because this will help you to understand the least amount of pages that is needed when you're trying to create an Amazon KDP book. Now, for this particular paperback, which is 8.5 by 11, we are going to be using the premium color ink and white paper because, of course, we're going with a children's storybook and we need the colors to really pop. And if we're going with that, our least amount of pages should be 24, which is super important to note. However, it will be assumed that we are using the least page of 24. So now we're going to go all the way to bleed, and we're going to be going with bleed for this book. Now, bleed is simply a phenomenon where illustrations or images extend towards the end or towards the edge of the pages, as you can see here, like so. Now, when you are using bleed, your page size may be a bit different. So you're not going to just use 8.5 by 11. So we're going to check this drop down to see the appropriate page size that we ought to use when we're using a trim size of 8.5 by 11. As you can see here, this is 8.5 by 11, which is without bleed, and the correspondent with bleed is 8.625 by 11.25, which is what we're going to go impute into Canva in order to get our exact page size that we are going to be working with. Now, I'm heading to Canva and I'll click custom size. I'm going to make sure that it's in inches because we're working with inches. I'm going to paste the width and I'm going to impute the height over here. And I'm going to click create new design. So I'm going to go back to Amazon KDP and scroll all the way down. And here is where I'm going to pick the appropriate margin. Now remember that we are assuming that we are going with page count of 24, even though what we generated were just 17. Now for the page count, we're going to be going with this first row here. And I'm going to copy this over here. Do remember that when you are trying to create yours, you need yours to be exactly 24 or more. Because if it is less than 24, you are not going to be able to actually publish it to Amazon KDP. Now I'm going to be going with the inside margin and the outside margin, both which are 0.375. I'm heading back to Canva. I'm going to zoom it out. My rulers are already here, which is what I'm going to be using to create the margins. If you do not have that, you can simply hit the Shift plus R, or you can click on File, you can go to Settings, and you can click Show Rulers and Guide. Now, I'm going to zoom it a bit so I can be able to see what I'm doing. I'll pull this all the way down so I can get as close as the required margin. I got 0.380 here. Now, in many cases, you may not be able to exactly get the specific number, but it is always best to use what is closest to it, and it is more appropriate to use higher than lower. Again, I'm going to do for the other side here. I'm going to pull it, and for this one, I got 0.380 as well. Now I'm going to do for the other part, but to make it much easier, I'm going to click on Shape. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this box up here. I'm going to zoom it in until it's a perfect fit. Then I'm going to duplicate it and bring it all the way down here to the bottom part. And I'll pull the margin from the upper part to meet it, as well as the ruler for the margin on the other side to meet it. And because I no longer have any need for it, I'm going to go ahead and delete the boxes. Now I'm going to go and duplicate it. You want to fix your margins first before you duplicate it. So now I'm going to duplicate it into 24 pages, which is what we are assuming our page count is. Now I'm going to click this duplicate page icon here. It's going to help me duplicate the pages. To make it easier, click on the grid view over here, and I'm going to copy this and duplicate it. So we have 24 pages here, and I'm going to go back to our first page. Now I'm going to upload it into Canva. What I typically do is I go to projects, I create a new folder. Since I'm compiling a lot of documents or a lot of files in one, so I can just say the courier's goal and continue. I'm going to upload files. So now all the images are here on Canva, and we can simply start adding them one by one. If we should just click on these three icons, we will be able to see the page number which we're going to be following. So the first one we're going to start with is page 2, because from the way it was arranged in the film strip in the AI tool, page 1 is the cover page. So we're going to start with page 2. I'm just going to drag it, bring it here. I'm going to extend it to make sure it fits the line perfectly. As you can see, it's a perfect fit. The next page is where I'm going to be adding the page 3. So this is the page 3 over here. I'm going to be adding it. This is the page 4 over here. I'm going to add it, and this is how I'm going to keep adding it until I fill up all of the images downloaded from the AI tool into Canva over here. So I'm going to go off the camera and do that. So now I'm done adding all of the images in Canva, and the next thing I want to do is want to create our cover image. Now to do that, I'm going to be heading to Amazon KDP cover calculator, where we're going to get the appropriate dimension that is required by Amazon. So the binding type is paperback, the interior type is premium color, the paper type is white paper, the reading direction is left to right, measurement unit is in inches, interior trim size is 8.5 by 11 inches, and the page count is 24. And I'm going to click calculate dimension. Automatically, Amazon KDP cover calculator is going to give us the exact dimension. We're going to be using the width as well as the height. And again, we're going to also download the template, and I'm going to be showing you what we're going to be doing with it in a second. Now back to Canva, I'm going to click on this plus icon here. I'm going to click custom size, and I'm simply going to edit the width and click create new design. Now it is going to create a new page with the appropriate dimensions with which we've imputed. For the paperback that we've downloaded, it will typically come as a zip folder of which we're going to have to extract it. So what we need is just this PNG file here. Now back in Canva, I'm clicking on upload files, where I'm going to upload the downloaded templates. So I've uploaded the template to Canva, and I'm just going to add it to the design page and zoom it out to fit the design page just like so. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding the cover design. And if you recall, when you go back to this AI tool that we're using, we already have our cover page over here. And what we can use for the back page, we can use any of these designs over here as well for the back page. I'm going to be downloading this one, and I'm going to be using it. Again, back in Canva, I'm going to go ahead and add our cover page. Now the whole essence of adding this particular template to it is just so that you can be able to gauge where you are putting what. So if you see these pink lines around it, this is to signify that any element or text that enters the pink line risks being trimmed out. Also to enable you to know how to centralize whatever text or elements you're putting in either the front page or back page, for you to be able to know how to align it properly. And this middle line is for you to know where the division between the front page and the back page is supposed to be. So anything you put here is going to be on the bend, and also for you to know where the barcode will be, so you do not put any important text or element where the barcode is going to cover it. Now I'm going to go ahead and just bring in the front cover page. I'm going to pull it so that it can be as centralized as possible. And I can decide to reduce the transparency just so that I'm able to see what I'm doing and ensure that it is actually well centralized. Again, for the back page, like I said, you can decide to add another of the image that we downloaded. So we can use this one, but if you don't want it so it doesn't look like repetition, maybe you want a little bit of spontaneity, we can still go back to another of the image and use it. For example, I'm going to be using this one. However, I would not like for the text to show. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this over here and download straight from here. So this way I'll be able to download it without having the text attached to it. Now back in Canva, I can simply go ahead and upload it here. Again, I can just reduce the transparency just so I can see that it is well centralized. I can position it to the back just so that I'm able to remove the template, and I can return the transparency back to the way it ought to be. So now this is what we have, and this is actually looking pretty much cool. You can decide to add your pen name just like so, and depending on any other detail that you would like to add. Now, do note that when you're trying to create your cover page, you want to add as much effort as possible, because this is your first salesman. This is what people would see first before they eventually click on your book to check out your description and every other detail. So this is how the book is going to look like. So you can see this is really beautiful. And just like that, we have been able to create an Amazon KDP children's book that you can upload on Amazon with just a single prompt. Now, I'm not saying that all the images were perfect immediately I used the prompt. Some of the illustrations were a bit off and did not show the level of perfect consistency I needed, and I did have to tweak a few lines. But for something that literally just took one prompt, this is actually crazy. And honestly, this is something that you would want to try and can save you a whole lot of time when you're trying to create children's book. So like I said, you can create up to 24 and even more than 24 pages. You can see 20 to 26 pages, 28 to 34 pages. And if your page happens to be under the minimum page required for Amazon KDP, you can simply just click this plus icon and just add any extra film strip wherever you prefer, so that you can get as much pages as you prefer. So I'm just going to delete. And the good thing about this AI tool is that if you want to have a copy or you want to gift it to a friend, you can actually leverage the print book feature, where you can actually put in your address, your details, and the book is going to be printed and shipped to you. This AI tool also has several other features that can help you explore your level of creativity if you are really interested in creating children books or children illustrations. Again, like I said, I've attached the link in the description, so you want to go ahead, click the link in the description, and it will take you to this AI tool where you can go and check it out. And if you found this video helpful, then you also find the next video that I'm about to show you helpful as well, that will help you in creating more children's book. And in the next video, I'm going to be showing you how you can convert your own story into a children's book without having any drawing experience nor illustration experience. So if that interests you, you want to click the video you see on your screen right now, I'll go check out the tutorial on that. Ciao.